Day 110 of hitchhiking from Southampton to South Africa.
We woke up way too late and quite hungover in our security guard residence. We had some lunch and after that they drove us into town where they insisted on getting us a taxi for the first 40 kilometers. We took some more pictures together and said our final goodbyes, and then we got in a taxi to Lola. In Lola, Courtney befriended some kids, and before we knew it, we managed to get a ride from a truck driver a bit further down the road. It was a small town, but from here there was just one single road to the border, and after a little while, this guy showed up who told us to follow him. As it turned out, he drove past in a taxi earlier and managed to convince the taxi driver to let us come with them for free. They took us to a little village 9 kilometers away from the border, and we tried to walk to the border, but pretty quickly got a ride from a motorbike. The first checkpoint on the Guinean side went pretty smooth, and we then walked another kilometer to the final Guinean checkpoint. On our way there, Courtney decided to carry a bag on her head, which the locals absolutely loved. We then got to the final Guinean border post, and all of a sudden it started pouring down. We waited for quite a while because we didn't want to get soaked, and when we tried to go on our phones, everyone there all of a sudden started screaming at us. We then learned that Guineans believe that if you go on your phone during a thunderstorm, you will get struck by lightning, and because of this, whenever there's a storm, they actually all either turn off their phones or turn on airplane mode. Eventually the storm stopped, so we walked across to the Ivory Coast side where we got stamped into the country. At this point there seemed to be no more cars at the border, as it was already quite late. Luckily for us, the border officers didn't like the idea of us sleeping at the border, and they seemed even less keen on the idea of us walking 50 kilometers in the dark to the next town. So, they managed to convince the last car to cross the border that day to take us with them to Da Nang, where we checked into a hotel and had some cereal for dinner. I've heard good things about Ivory Coast, so I'm very excited to explore the country. Also, apparently the roads are a lot better than in Guinea, so that'll be nice too.